Got 3 bucks out here right now. Maybe a couple 4x4s and then a younger buck. You can see there's bucks out there just waiting for those big public land bucks to show up here. Chance has been doing a lot of scouting out west, but time to focus back here on some of this stuff in the central and eastern part of the state. Start figuring out our game plans for this fall. It starts with our velvet scouting here tonight. Just out here today, taking a peek, seeing what's out here in this field. Got beans out here, dryland beans, so beans aren't doing very well. They're not very high, but there's still deer out here. There's deer out here already. A couple doves out here when I tried to sneak in, and we still got about 2.5 to 3 hours before dark, and they're already out here. I'm actually using the tree saddles here tonight. Usually I just try to sneak in, set on the ground somewhere, but I just always feel like I can't get enough of a view of the field, especially a field like this. It's not real flat, got some roll to it, and I'd be able to see a certain spot, but then deer come out down this whole entire thing, and that's kind of the point, is to try to see where they're coming from. And if I'm sitting on the ground, I can never see where they're coming from. So decided to sneak in today, throw the Catch the Flex on, climb up in the tree just a little bit. This tree was also full of a bunch of poison ivy when I climbed up in it, which, as far as I know, I don't get poison ivy. I'm one of those lucky people that doesn't get it. There's so much poison ivy on this property. We fought through it scouting in the summer. We continue to risk it and continue to kind of flirt with the boundaries of touching poison ivy. So up to this point I haven't got it. Hopefully that's the case tonight. Usually try to wash my hands and shower real good right when I get back, but poison ivy wrapped all the way around this tree. This is a property that we're pretty familiar with. We usually don't set up and hunt this field because there's probably 15 stands along the edge of this thing. We usually try to set up a little bit farther back into the woods because that pressure picks up here, pushes them back farther, so that's where you've seen us hunt. But this is a good place to go just to get an idea of kind of what bucks are in the area, and if they come out in certain spots, we've got a good idea of where they might be bedding and where those bedding areas are, because we've hunted this property probably 3 or 4 years now. So that gives us a pretty good idea of where these bedding areas are. So really tonight, just coming out here, get outside, do some velvet scouting for the first time this year, and just see what bucks are out here, see what the deer numbers are looking like in this area. This is one of the major food sources that kind of surrounds the bedding areas that we're hunting. The deer will travel this far out to this food source, especially now when they're in bachelor groups. They, deer that are using that high wall setup that you've seen us hunt a lot might be out here in this field. See if we don't recognize any bucks that are out here tonight, and get an idea of what's out here, what's using this, and if there's any other areas we need to dive into and scout if we see them coming from maybe an area we don't have as much history with. So our strategy for this property, and a property, like I mentioned, that we've had 3 or 4 years of experience hunting and scouting, is to mostly come out here and do these velvet scouts. There's a few fields around here that we can hit and do some velvet scouting on that keeps our human impact down. We're not diving into these spots. We know where those bedding areas are. We're familiar with the terrain, with the habitat, and what it looks like. So if we see these deer on these certain food sources that are around here, we know where those bedding areas are. Instead of diving in and scouting places that we've already been in a whole lot, we can just sit out here, minimize our impact, and velvet scout these fields. So that's kind of the game plan for these properties. While Chance is out west, he's diving into those properties, trying to figure them out, get a lay of the land, figure out where the deer are. Property like this that we've been on before, we're just coming in here, velvet scouting these fields because we know what they look like. We scouted them a whole bunch. We know where the bedding areas are. We know where some good tree stand setups are to start. So really just minimizing our impact, still learning while we're out here, figuring out where the deer are, because it changes a little bit year to year, but we're minimizing our human impact by just staying out, velvet scouting these fields instead of diving in when we know what things look like.